Just another quick little job here, I think. I decided I better get the intake manifold bolted down. I've been enjoying all this extra space, but I'm at a point where I believe I want to lay the harness in. I know the exhaust is going to fit. I'm waiting on shifter linkage, but even if the shifter linkage didn't arrive, I have the stock stuff working well enough to get it into park, reverse, neutral, and drive. I want to be able to get the power steering pump and the alternator back in place, but I want to have access to the wiring that's down here for the variable valve timing and the cam sensor, and there's like a little plastic wire retainer that gets bolted. I want to be able to get to that easy. Over here, I want to be able to plug the starter in, because I would love to at some point be able to bump this over, especially once I get my wiring figured out. So we're going to load the intake on. I wanted to show a quick video since I have it turned upside down though. Injectors are really clean looking on the bottom. I know that doesn't mean that they're clean inside, but justification for me not replacing the injectors or taking them out this time. It's just such low miles and it's clean. So I'm going to go ahead and set the camera up. Maybe you can take some footage of that, but no big deal. We'll get this loaded on there. Okay, we got her all cleaned up. I'm going to drop the intake on. Okay. There is a sequence for this. I'm loosely following it right now. Okay, so there is a sequence and there is a step value. I believe the first step is 44 inch-pounds. 44 inch-pounds. So hopefully the information I have is accurate, or you're going to see me cursing. 44. "44 does not feel like enough, but it is enough. So first step was 44, second step is 89. Scary. That one scared me a little. It didn't feel like it was going to tighten, but I was going to give it one more little twist, and then I was going to give up on that one. Okay, that's it. Intake manifold is installed. What I'm going to do now is probably drape the harness and get ready to start plugging everything in. I have a bulkhead harness coming on Monday, and let's be honest, with the holiday coming up, I'm not going to get a chance to work on this much anyway. So I have the bulkhead harness coming on Monday, and that will allow me to start the whole process of wiring this engine, which is a good thing. I got to get this map sensor off because it's broken, plug's broken. And then I'm going to start draping the harness and trying to fish things out. I might take the headers out. The headers are just loosely bolted in. I might get them out of the way and in preparation for the harness. But that's it. Intake's on. Not entirely sure how this is supposed to work. Maybe I'll climb back in, try to get things going in the right direction. My plan was to start with the It is not very comfortable. My plan was to start by anchoring the wiring up here, which I guess is still a feasible plan. I think it goes like that. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so we have that in place. Now the question is, where's everything else go? I know this guy just kind of hangs out, so we're just going to plop him there. This one, okay, so these wires down here, I got my starter, my AC, which I'm not ready to get rid of yet. I think this is the crank sensor. This is the AC compressor, and this is that bracket that goes down the front. Here's the VVT plug. Here's some grounds, and that's a knock sensor for the, I believe for the driver's side, if I'm not mistaken. There's no way it's going to reach over there. Okay, so let's lay that in and see what we got. Okay, so I have my injectors here and ready to go. I've deleted my evap solenoid, but since I don't know what I'm doing 100% with that yet, well, I know I'm not using it, but I'm just going to let it hang out over here. I'm not going to yank it off yet. So I was going to try to hide these harnesses, but to be completely honest with you, I don't care that much if it's visible. I don't even know how I would do that. Tuck them behind the fuel rail, I guess. I'm starting to think that I should have reworked this and sent this over into the cab, and I'm wondering if I can still do that. I'm wondering if I can just take this whole thing and feed it right in there. The only problem is I don't know if I can go far enough. I don't know if I can go far enough that way. I'll play with that later, because all of this stuff has to go in the cab, but this stuff has to stay out. So maybe I won't make it harder on myself, and I'll just keep it here. I'll just do something like this, like I planned originally. Something like that. This is ugly. I'll have to fix this too. Anyway, all right, keep moving here. Keep moving. So on this side of the engine, we have oil pressure sensor. As you can see here, I did not finish tucking these wires. This is where I extended wires from the trans plug and used the VFM wiring, which is right here, to send these wires, which came from the trans plug right here, send them over to the PCM. So this wire and this wire were actually VVM, or what is it? It's not VVM, it's AFM. I don't know what I'm saying. Those were AFM wires going to the PCM, and they are now tap up, tap down, and brake input for the transmission, just in case I decide to get froggy and use the tap up, tap down. So this is all trans here and an O2. I gotta remember which O2 this is. We'll have to look in the wiring, remember which O2 that is. Give me purple, white, gray, and tan. Purple, tan, and light green. Purple, tan, and light green. So this is bank 2. So this is actually the passenger side. This is the driver's side. So what has to happen is this actually gets plugged into the that actually gets plugged into the oil pressure sensor, which is down yonder. Go. Locked in, and then this guy will go down, all the way down. Somewhere it's going to pick up the O2, which I'm not 100% sure where that's at yet, and I'll probably have to fish some of this up over the transmission as well. I think I saw a clip too. Is there a clip? There's a metal clip down there which may or may not screw into something. How do you like that for specifics? There's a metal clip, I think, that may or may not screw into something. So actually, this kind of goes like this. How does this go? This has got to come up here. This is the plug for the throttle body. And then this goes here. These are grounds. They'll go to the head right there. This goes here. I think this clipped onto like the clips onto these things, the dipsticks, but I'm not going to have dipsticks like that. Mine are going to be shorter. Maybe what I'll do is just zip tie this stuff like that. I'm not putting the coil packs on yet because I don't want them in my way. Also don't want to break them. Good enough for now. Okay, what's left? We got this leg, which has the passenger O2 with a metal bracket. That's interesting. That probably goes to the back of the head. And then this is the MAF sensor here, which I think what I'm going to do with this is just kind of leave it loose for now. Because I don't 100% know where my O2 sensor is going to fall, so let's just leave that loose. I will pop that new MAF sensor on if I can find it. Okay, here's the new one. Now I have to remember how this comes off. I think you just push it over, huh? Or is it not? Is it? Oh yeah, you unhook it from there. Then you lose that piece immediately. And then it goes somewhere that you cannot put your hand, where you can just barely touch it with your fingers. There's that. Verify they look the same. They do. There we go. Just like that. Then this goes on there. Snaps into place. This extremely goofy plug that GM doesn't use anywhere else in their harnesses gets put in there, and then that's it. Okay, I think we're pretty good shape. Where'd that bolt go? So we'll run them all home. Let's do this one first. So we'll tighten these up while I'm at it. Alrighty. So now we got some of the accessories on. Like that power steering reservoir, which I'm now seeing is pretty much going to be in my way for everything header. I might put that header in now, final. It's probably not the worst plan. So that's that for now. I've now got it pretty much wired up, ready to go. I did get everything plugged in down here, and I now see I have a heat shield on backwards, but all that's plugged in. Didn't really find a good place to secure the wire. I'll take a look from up top. I just couldn't find it from down below, but that's good to go. The trans is plugged in. I made a mistake earlier. I said that it was on the driver's side. The plug is actually on the passenger side, so I just looped the harness over the trans, and I'll find some places to secure that. Over here, we're all good, except for once the coil rail's on, I'll get that stuff in place. Got the accessory bracket on, and I just have to attach those grounds that are floating around down there somewhere. So we are looking pretty good. I think I'm going to end up just putting my ECM on the fender well somewhere. I mean, look at all this. Look at this freaking thing. I should have, in hindsight, I shouldn't have done this. I should have completely stripped this down and reworked this whole harness. Because I would really have loved to have stuck it in that big ass hole over there and put it underneath the dash, which I totally could have done had I planned this out a little better. I still could. I mean, it wasn't that hard to run these wires, so I could strip it all down and do that. Maybe once it's running. But anyway, that's it for today. I'm gonna go shower up and be done for the day. All right, thanks for watching.